Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
So we're here at Marshall's with Liz for some holiday shopping.
She's really nailing it this year, isn't she?
Oh, yep. She got a record player for Amy.
A gorgeous cozy sweater for Jason.
And some hot pink fluffy slippers for her sister.
The perfect gift.
Wait a sec.
She's getting a pair for herself.
Well, with prices this good, it would be rude not to.
You know what? She totally deserves it.
Oh, totally.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you at Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
As a listener of this show, you can get a 30-day free trial membership to an Audible Premium Plus membership. That's a $14.95 value, which includes 1 credit. Good for any premium selection titles you like, including new releases, and that is yours to keep. But during that 30-day trial, you can also check out the new Audible Plus catalog, which features podcasts, audiobooks, guided wellness, and Audible originals. Listen all you want, no credits needed. You'll also get a friendly email reminder before your trial ends. Right now, I'm listening to John Arezzi talk about his life in pro wrestling with the New York Mets and in the music business. If you've been listening to this show over the years, you know John is a friend of the show and has lived a fascinating life, hosting a wrestling radio show similar to this podcast in the late 80s and early 90s. And he's done wrestling convention promotions and also promoted shows. He's got stories to tell, and boy, does he tell them in his book. And you can get that with your 1 credit for free right now. Go to audible.com/Wade or text Wade to 500-500. Pick any book you want. Pro wrestling, sports, politics, nonfiction, fiction. Learn about World War I. That's a book I'm currently listening to with my Audible membership. It's called The First World War. I know quite a bit about World War II. Far from an expert, but I didn't know a lot about World War I. And I was just talking to some family members recently about how different World War I and II were because of technology. It was a fascinating discussion, and I was able to participate because I've been listening to The First World War by John Keegan. So you're able to be more part of the conversation when topics come up like that with family and friends when you are listening to an audiobook. So go check out membership. It's free. Just try it for 30 days. See what you think. Audible.com/Wade or text Wade to 500-500.
Cloud is powering tomorrow's transformative missions. Federal agencies are partnering with SAIC to help them meet these critical moments, where bold moves require confident blueprints, where you can accelerate transformation through consistency, where you can innovate forward and never look back. SAIC quickly and securely migrates large-scale workloads to the cloud with the confidence you need to assure your mission. Learn more at saic.com/cloud.
As a social worker, you can become an advocate for those who can't. Earn your master's in social work degree online to learn strategies to connect diverse populations with the critical resources they need to improve their well-being, whether it's in a hospital, community service agency, or another setting. What do you think making a difference as a social worker looks like? GCU offers over 240 high-quality online programs like this one. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Visit gcu.edu.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andreas Michaelitis, Chief Psychologist at Noom. But what's Noom and why does Noom need a Chief Psychologist? Noom is a weight loss program that works, with results that last. Because we know that changing the way you eat starts with your mind. With Noom's proven psychology-backed tools, one-on-one coaching, and flexible plans that emphasize progress over perfection, you'll have the tools you need to change your relationship with food. So sign up at Noom.com now and lose the weight for good. That's Noom.com.
Welcome to the Best of PW Torch livecast for Friday, November 5th, 2021. I'm Wade Keller, the publisher and editor of the Pro Wrestling Torch Weekly newsletter and the website pwtorch.com, and the host of the new VIP exclusive podcast series, Keller's Focus on AEW. We started that on Monday, November 1st, and we're aiming to do an update focused entirely and exclusively on AEW just about every day this month. And that includes today's Part 1 exclusive interview with Tony Khan, the head honcho over at AEW. Part 2 will run tomorrow. If you are not a VIP member, there's really never been a better time to go VIP so you can hear this exclusive interview in its entirety this weekend, starting with Part 1 right now. To go VIP or find out details on membership, go to pwtorch.com/govip. That's pwtorch.com/govip. You'll see that there are multiple options for payment, including credit card, debit card, and PayPal. You can actually get on board through Patreon now also. Rates start at $4.99 for Tier 1. Tier 2, which is only $6.99 a month, will include the Wade Keller Hotlines and Keller Focus On reports dedicated to AEW this month, in addition to the ad-free versions of the live cast, the daily cast, and the Wade Keller post shows and podcasts. So check out full details, pwtorch.com/govip. Let's get to today's best of selection. Going back 5 years ago this week, we begin first with the Saturday Morning Wrestling from November 5th, 2016. Jim Valley's interview with Roxy Astor of Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. The Park Avenue Knockout talks about her experiences auditioning, training, and living in Las Vegas as what was called a glow girl. She talks about working with David McLean, Tiffany Million, Ivory, and more. And then after that, we bring you the Friday, November 4th, primetime Friday livecast with Bruce and Travis. Can Billy Corgan still leverage control of TNA? Remember, that was the big story? Billy Corgan was going to be the next big thing in professional wrestling, maybe, before Tony Khan came along when Billy got involved with Impact Wrestling. Also, what was Hell in a Cell's real main event, regardless of match order? They also talk about heels like Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, Kevin Owens, and David Otunga and compare them. They take live calls, and they also tackle the never-ending question, when is live not live? So a doubleheader here on our Friday flashback best of PW Torch livecast selection going back to 5 years ago this week. Let's get to it.
Yes, we are. We're going to have fun today and do our own thing. Saturday Morning Wrestling. It's Jim Valley, and we are here live. And joining us today on the show, on a day when, if you looked on Twitter, you would see Joe Piscopo, for some reason. He's trending on Twitter. But what a perfect time to take it back to the 80s and the years of Ronald Reagan and go back once again to the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Joining us on the show today is the Park Avenue Knockout, Roxy Astor, and she was one half of a tag team in the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling with Tiffany Million, who went on to another career. And if you want to know what that career is, leave your safe search on when you go and search Tiffany Million. Does that make sense? Or ask Bruce Mitchell what Tiffany Million did, because from what I heard on from Bruce Pritchard, he's a connoisseur of those things. So there you go. Ask Bruce Mitchell about Tiffany Million, but maybe we can talk about it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we're going to have some fun with Roxy Astor. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I had the very popular Queen Kong on the show, and Deanna Booher. And as I mentioned, she's like our Meryl Streep. She's our white trash Meryl Streep because she's been in pro wrestling. She's been in roller derby. She's been on Married with Children. She does all of these things so well. She's our girl. We love Queen Kong, and you know she's not doing well. And if you can contribute to her GoFundMe, that would be really nice. Or you could also contribute by buying her book, and her book is actually really good. It's a little adult. As I mentioned, I wouldn't have the kids read it or have them do a book report for school because you'll have to answer a lot of questions. But it's a pretty entertaining book, and it's very well written, and it covers a lot of alternative employment that she had. How about that? So we're going to have Roxy Astor on. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we're resetting here because Blog Talk is terrible. And we all know that, and you know that. By the way, Joe Piscopo is trending this morning on Twitter, which is odd. And, of course, anytime someone from the past trends on Twitter, you're like, oh, did they die? Did they die? And no, he's at a Donald Trump rally. He's the main speaker at a Donald Trump rally. And don't get me wrong, Piscopo, it's amazing. If you grew up back then, and I think I've watched virtually every Saturday Night Live ever. I love Saturday Night Live. Even when it's terrible, it's fascinating to me. But after that original cast, which was, sheesh, how can you? What a home run right out of the gate. With such a cast with Belushi and Aykroyd and Chevy Chase and Gilda Radner and Jane Curtin and Lorraine Newman and Garrett Morris and just, so much groundbreaking comedy that went on and, kind of lost steam by the time 1980 came around and they tried to reset. But, Saturday Night Live would literally be dead if it wasn't for Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. Joe Piscopo was a big deal. And obviously he was one of those people, and you've seen this on Saturday Night Live before, where it's like, oh, it was the writers. Oh, he's not really that funny. It's just the writers. Well, anyway, Joe Piscopo, he's a nice man. I guess he's big in New Jersey, so hey, he's at a Trump rally. Good for him. Good for everybody. So Roxy Astor's coming up, and I want to talk about just a couple of things before we get to Roxy. So stand by. It's the PW Torch Livecast, which is brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is the one, and be sure to support them because they support the PW Torch Livecast. It's the PW Torch Livecast, Saturday Morning Wrestling with Jim Valley, and coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to have Roxy Astor from the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, and we'll talk some women's wrestling today. But a couple of things I wanted to get into before we have Roxy on. But it was 20 years ago this week. In 1996, it was very much a year of transition as far as the WWE went. With the NWO and the advent. They were just so cool and so real, and everybody wanted to watch it. And it was such an exciting time with Hulk Hogan being a heel and all of the possibilities in WCW. It really was an amazing time to be a wrestling fan. And if you were experienced that, you know exactly what I mean. People were talking about wrestling. You didn't have to hide, but it was a year of transition for Vince McMahon in the sense that he had to get away from what brought him to the dance. And what brought him to the dance was this campy cartoon version of wrestling. And to his credit, the old dog changed his tricks, and you can't take that away from him. It just took a little while. And one of the most notorious things on that road to finally becoming the Attitude Era happened this week in 1996, and that was the Raw where they had the Steve Austin, Brian Pillman gun angle. And you can find it online. It's pretty easy to find, but the angle was that Brian Pillman was crazy and Steve Austin was crazy, and that they were fighting in this house over this gun. And obviously the WWF, Vince will tell you that they don't do murder, they don't do a lot of different things, but on this day, they kind of did. They kind of did. So they're at Pillman's home in Kentucky apparently, and Stone Cold Steve Austin told everyone that he's coming to Pillman's house, and when Austin, and Pillman's injured at the time. And so when Austin shows up and he's going to beat in the door and he's going to go through the window and he's going do all of these things, and they're chasing throughout the house, and it's all this chaos and everything. And Pillman pulls out a gun, and as the satellite feed cuts out and goes dark, boom, you hear this gunshot, and everyone wants to know what happened. And I think, it's weird. 20 years, and I think I feel the same way about it then that I do now. It just seems wrong, and not like evil wrong, but it just seems incongruent with what wrestling is supposed to be about. It just, I don't know. I'm still not a big fan of it. I don't feel better or worse about it. I think I feel pretty much the same. Just that it, I don't know. Just I don't think it really worked. I don't think it was appropriate, and like I said, I think it goes against everything that professional wrestling is supposed to be. I mean, we've seen angles in houses before, like Randy Orton's house and other things like that, and that's different. But I think when you bring in the aspect of the firearm, I think it changes the whole dynamic of the show and the whole dynamic of wrestling. I mean, and here's the other thing. When you're creating that much content and you're in a war for wrestling, and it was a big deal back then, the ratings and all of that stuff. And by the way, speaking of ratings, Nitro did beat Raw that night, 3.4 to 2.3. So the gun angle didn't really work all of that well. But I give them credit in the sense that they tried something new. It didn't really work, but they were willing to try something new. I don't think it's not the end of the world. It's not, you don't need to condemn them for life. They tried something to see, it was kind of the direction the audience was going. Let's see if they're going this far. No, they're not going that far. Okay, well then let's move on. And they tried. And I give them credit for that, but it's still, there's just certain things in wrestling that don't really belong. It kind of reminds me of that whole angle with the Hart Foundation and the Nation of Domination, where the Hart Foundation was going to be framed for spraying inappropriate things in the locker room of the Nation. That's another thing. It's just no, that kind of stuff is you don't really want in professional wrestling. But God, wrestling runs the gamut. We see it today. Lucha Underground with sort of its weird science fiction aspect to it, and traditional Lucha Libre, and Matt Hardy. A lot of people are pushing the boundaries these days of what qualifies as professional wrestling and what it means and what the social mores are. And that's kind of cool. I mean, I've given, that's the one thing. It's like the Matt Hardy thing isn't really my cup of tea, but at least they're trying something new. And for some people, it appears to be getting some traction. And, when you have to create this much content for us greedy wrestling fans, I guess you got to take some risks. And that's what we're going to talk about today with Roxy Astor. We're going to talk about a different type of wrestling and just a crazy time. So we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back, and then we're going to go back to the 80s and talk some gorgeous ladies of wrestling with the lovely Roxy Astor. Stand by.
If you're like me, you've got...
Is your heating system ready for colder weather? An annual heating system tune-up from McCarthy Services will help make sure your system is working properly and efficiently to keep you warm and save money on your heating costs. Schedule your annual heating system tune-up today with McCarthy Services for only $29. That's right, only $29. But do it fast. This outstanding special ends soon. Call 866-838-1432 for details. License number 27051429478.
McCarthyHomeservices.com.
I haven't really woken up until I've had my McDonald's breakfast deal. And I know this is true because before breakfast, I put my phone in the refrigerator and couldn't find the keys that were already in my hand.
Nothing gets the morning going like the first sip of an iced coffee. Get any size and any flavor for 99 cents until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andreas Michaelitis, Chief Psychologist at Noom. But what's Noom and why does Noom need a Chief Psychologist? Noom is a weight loss program that works, with results that last. Because we know that changing the way you eat starts with your mind. With Noom's proven psychology-backed tools, one-on-one coaching, and flexible plans that emphasize progress over perfection, you'll have the tools you need to change your relationship with food. So sign up at Noom.com now and lose the weight for good. That's Noom.com.
Daily Cast listeners, thank you, first of all, for streaming the shows. Be sure you're subscribing. Just search PW Torch in Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to pro wrestling podcasts. But while you're at it, if you're not yet, please subscribe to the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Podcast and Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Post Shows. Search Wade Keller and see two logos pop up, a blue one and a red one. The red logo, the post shows, cover Raw and SmackDown each week, with a fast turnaround time of a couple hours after the show's end. And also, every Saturday, we present a flashback to our analysis from 5 years ago that week, covering Raw. Jason Paulwell from ProWrestling.net joins me, and we analyze what happened on Raw 5 years ago. So check out that time capsule every weekend. The Blue Logo Show features the Thursday flagship, plus our first-run interviews, our classic interviews, and our mailbag segments. So again, search Wade Keller and click subscribe to both the red logo and the blue logo.
Need appliances? Don't wait for Black Friday. Get to Bray Friday, going on now at Bray & Scarf. Make your one-on-one VIP appointment for huge appliance savings in-store and online. Get doorbuster deals like a GE 27 cubic foot stainless steel French door refrigerator with fingerprint-resistant finish for just $15.99. Save $700. Don't miss the Bray Friday savings. Shop local at Bray & Scarf, where it doesn't cost more to get more. Simplify your federal agency's technology procurement with Connection Public Sector Solutions. Connection's dedicated account managers, commitment to exceptional customer service, and extensive catalog of federal contracts make IT purchases quick, easy, and affordable. Turn your challenges into opportunities and get rid of your technology pain points with Connection today. Learn more about what's possible with Connection Public Sector Solutions at connection.com/fedcontracts.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andreas Michaelitis, Chief Psychologist at Noom. This past year has shown us how important our overall health is, and Noom is here to help. Most weight loss plans fall short because they don't provide lasting results. But at Noom, our psychology-driven approach is designed to help you change your relationship with food. Changing the way you eat starts with your mind, and Noom gives you the tools you need to succeed on your terms. Sign up now and lose the weight for good at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.
pwtorch.com.
The unmistakable sounds of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Yes, indeed. It was back in the day. If you watch TV from 85 to 90, particularly late-night TV, it seemed like they came on after Arsenio a lot. But joining us now, one of those gorgeous ladies of wrestling. She was the Park Avenue, and probably still is, the Park Avenue Knockout. Joining us now, Roxy Astor. Roxy, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. And I just had a weird scenario this morning, though. Oh, God. I almost got, okay, I have to do this podcast in my car. Would you like to know why?
Sure. If you want to share, go right ahead.
They're working on our building next door. They are building with hammers for the last 6 months. So I thought this morning they would give it a break. Oh, no, they were up with hammers at 7 in the morning and saws. So I have to actually get into my car to do a podcast so we don't have that in the background. So I go to drive out, and then there's a truck blocking me, the workers from there. So they got a little taste of, get out of the way.
It's okay. I'm having problems with the Blog Talk interface this morning, so it's just our karma this morning. It is what it is, but we've made it, and we're gonna make it the best show we can.
Oh, it'll be a good show because I'm in that kind of mood. So when I'm in that mood, it's a good thing.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes.
So here we are. It's 20 years after the fact or so. Which, by the way, real quick, which seasons were you on? Which seasons were you a part of?
Did you 20 years or did you say 30 years?
You're right. It is 30 years. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. 30 years. I know it's hard to say, but it is 30 years.
Really, you should have just gone with it, but who am I to tell you what to do?
No. I'm proud of that, you know what, after 30 years, that people are still talking about it. 20 and 30, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So, I was in seasons 3 and 4.
Okay, that's what I got. Now, did you work with Matilda? Was Matilda still a part of the show by then?
No, and she had left, and you're probably going to know. I think she left first season, second season. I can ask you. I'm not sure.
I think she was,
but I was a fan of Glow.
Yeah. So let's real quick. Let me reset for you here. I was a big wrestling fan, and you'd think being a horny teenager with hormones that I would have loved Glow at the time, but I did not, because I was a purist with wrestling, and you guys were mocking wrestling, and how dare you do that? And you're, but
oh yeah, we've heard that. Yeah,
I'm sure. You'd think the hormones would override everything, but they really didn't, which was odd, but because they overrode pretty much everything else, and I'm not sure they still don't to this day, but.
I was going to say, they're not working for you now, or again, it's 30 years later.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. But anyway, a few years ago, I came across the documentary, the Glow documentary on cable, and it's a great documentary, and it kind of shows that, even though you girls were sort of like, the monkeys of wrestling, where they sort of put you all together and gave you characters and all of those things, that you guys had a lot of the same relationships that other wrestlers did, and wrestlers who were more part of the I don't know what the right word is, but the WWE or the independent wrestlers or the territorial wrestlers of the time. You guys had a lot of that same relationship and went through a lot of similar things.
Well, the thing is, too, is I did another podcast with someone, and I was told that Moolah said that Glow ruined wrestling. And, and I looked up to Moolah, and I looked up to, I'm one of the few that actually watch wrestling. And before I got into Glow, I was a fan of Glow. To me, it was a TV show. That's all it was. It wasn't wrestling, because they had all the skits and the campiness. It was a lot of fun. So I feel like that if you weren't a fan of wrestling, maybe Glow kind of helped you work into it. Or then again, it could have, gone opposite, and, you could have totally hated it after Glow. But and I like how you say that we were kind of monkeys thrown, or how about fish in a fishbowl?
Yeah,
monkeys, yeah. We were fish in a fishbowl.
I mean, like the 60s band, the Monkees, who were created.
Oh, you're talking about how they just kind of go, here you go, this is what you are. I just saw a show on that. I was totally shocked. I knew I shouldn't have been after being in Glow, but I was shocked how that was. So, you know what? I think that's what makes us so unique now, is because we do still talk after 30 years. And like with Matilda, I talk to her every week. I wasn't a friend with hers back in Glow, but I talk with her every week. She's an amazing person. You interviewed her, and she's just great. And every time I talk to her, she's always laughing and happy. And she's gone through a lot. You saw in the documentary, what we've gone through. But you're not going to have that group of girls like how you had with Glow, because we were stuck in apartments and together and filming, as you have now, because now you have your independents, you have WWE and the other ones. It's just not the same thing, and it never will be. But that's why, to me, I think Glow is so unique.
Yeah. So, what were you doing back then before you were cast as Roxy Astor? What was your life like?
Well, I actually came from Auburn, Washington. I'm wondering if you know. I went to Auburn High School. You know where that is?
Mm-hmm. I do.
You're in Kirkland.
I have some friends who went to the Adventist Academy in Auburn.
Yeah. So I grew up there, and I've always kind of wanted to live in L.A. And so I went to Auburn Beauty College and became a hairdresser right out of high school, but then went to the Seattle Art Institute right after that. So I was finding my way, not really knowing what I wanted to do, but my sister moved out to LA and I followed her. And I was watching Glow, and there was a caption, "Do you want to be a Glow girl?" Now, that's when I think David McLean left with the season 1 girls. He left and brought the girls, and I know they had to finish the show. So they had to throw together this show, I think, within, I don't remember. It could be between 6 months to a year. But I came from being a hairdresser, not even an actress, to being Roxy Astor, which to me, I look back at, how did I do that? It's crazy.
Now, how much wrestling training did you get?
Well, I wasn't trained by Mondo, even though I got to meet him finally. I think I worked out or walked to Starbucks. That was my workout. Or, we showed up. I think there was like about 100 girls that just showed up. And you know what? There was girls in shape. There was girls out of shape. There was just so many, walks of life. So obviously it wasn't just who was the fittest. It was who had the personality, who had that something that, that was the director was drawn to. So I think a lot of us were just, off the streets basically doing regular jobs to just showing up at Glow, and they just kind of picked who they wanted and honestly who would stick around. Because we really had no clue what we were doing. So
now, had you been on other auditions before? What did they have you do? Did you have to do like crazy things or appear all energetic in order to get their attention, or was it just they kind of looked at you as far as the optics and went, yeah, you could be this character?
Are you talking about for the audition? The first audition?
Yeah, the first audition. Do they make you like sing or dance or do roles or anything?
No, well, the first audition, I'm thinking it was somewhere on Sunset. It was an office, but I had sent in a picture of me and I wanted to be a bad girl, with black leather gloves, short black leather skirt, and I want to be like Hollywood. And so obviously that caught their attention, and I went to an audition. So I found out also there was about 3,500 girls that also sent in pictures, and they were, if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have done it. I would have got a little intimidated because I've never done anything like this. So I remember walking into an audition, and I'd never, ever done this. But I kind of knew, it's do or die. I either go back to Seattle or I stick it out here and just get this Glow job. Well, that sounded bad. So I'm sitting there, and there's Rickless, who owned the Riviera. I remember Matt Zimber, and they were just kind of doing the questions, and I'm like, I got to do something to get their attention. I remember standing up, and I hit my fist on the table, I'm going to be, and I want this. So I thought, you know what, I blew this. It's over. Okay, I did my best. I went home, and 2 days later, they asked if I could, you had to get your own way there, if I could drive or get myself to Las Vegas by a certain date, and that was it. And then I showed up for, I think, the second part of the audition.
So a lot of it had to do with whether or not you could just get there. You have good
I mean, if you look, I mean, think about it, Jim. It's like you have 3,500 people trying out. So it would be, yes, I could say that, but there was only about maybe 100 people that showed up. So there was a lot of girls that didn't make it. And I hear from a lot of people now, like, yeah, I tried out, or I wanted to do it. And, it's like when they try out for Tough Enough, we don't realize how many people are trying out. It's pretty scary. But, you just got to give it your all. And that's it. So when I arrived in Vegas, like I said, there was about, maybe 100 people, women. And it kind of went from that. But then there were apartments set up, and there was 4 to an apartment. And I think it was like 2 days later, we showed up we were in a warehouse. We were at the Riviera. So they were kind of watching us like fish in a fishbowl, just to see what we would do, how we would interact with other people. And, you get 100 women together and, the claws come out. So, we were trying to friend each other and just kind of get through the workouts. And the girls that couldn't get through the workouts, they took off. So, little by little, the girls they were leaving. And the girls that were staying back, we were secretly happy because that just meant we might have a chance of getting a space.
So what kind of physical things were they putting you through?
Oh, God, like horrible stuff, like push-ups and sit-ups.
Oh, no.
And running. I mean, when you go from doing almost like absolutely nothing to that, we were complaining like, 20 sit-ups, push-ups. They started off, small. But the funny thing is you're going to hear a different story from different girls. Like Matilda's was totally different. I read her book. I don't know if you did. And hers was a different story. It was a great book, by the way.
It is, yeah.
Ours was just,
Yeah, it's very well written.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I couldn't put it down for 3 days. And, we just start off gradually. And then all of a sudden, I remember, I think it was about a week, we were doing starting off with roles. And we had Nanichka and Debbie Debuton that they were training us. So we had 2 glow girls. And Nanichka, she was pretty tough. And Debbie Debuton was the sweet one. So I think you had your good cop, bad cop type of thing going on. And we started off with the rolls, and somebody was complaining about their neck. And then we did our handstands into the roll. And then when we started to do, all of a sudden, I remember them going, okay, you're going to flip yourself over into a back bump. And I have never done anything like that. No gymnastics, no nothing. And they were like, just do it. And you know what? You did it. I don't know how, but you just did it. And I kind of feel like we were all rooting for each other at that point. And a few girls would get hurt, their ankle, their knee, they would go home. Because if you couldn't do it, you couldn't be there. There was just too many spaces, available that if you were hurt, they're going to kind of wait around for you to heal. So once again, I think that was hard for a lot of girls. I think Jailbait, who ended up having a character, she got hurt kind of at the end of everything, and she was already a character, but then she couldn't be in the show because she hurt her knee really bad.
How did you see yourself as stacking up to the group as far as physicality and conditioning? Did you see yourself in the middle? How did you see yourself?
I know there were some girls that were really, really fit, but you know what? I have to say, because you had a character named Beastie, and her name was actually Kelly, and I'm thinking, wow, she's really, out of shape. But she kind of shocked me because when she got into the ring, she was really good. And the girls that you didn't think could, do the back bumps, like Daisy and other girls, you're like, oh, there's no way they're going to even, be able to hang on. And they did. So how they looked and actually how they performed was kind of shocking. I thought, oh, yeah, I'm in pretty good shape compared to them. But these girls were amazing. It didn't really matter your size. It's just how bad you wanted it. And the girls that ended up staying, we wanted it real bad.
All right. We're talking with the lovely Roxy Astor from Glow. She's talking about how she became Roxy Astor, and we're going to take a quick break here and be right back, and we got some calls for Roxy Astor. You can touch base with her if you want at 515-605-9345, or you can email at pwgeorgelivecast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Jim Valley, or you can find Roxy at Roxy Astor1 on Twitter. We'll be right back with Roxy and the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
Cloud is powering tomorrow's transformative missions. Federal agencies are partnering with SAIC to help them meet these critical moments, where bold moves require confident blueprints, where you can accelerate transformation through consistency, where you can innovate forward and never look back. SAIC quickly and securely migrates large-scale workloads to the cloud with the confidence you need to assure your mission. Learn more at saic.com/cloud.
Fall is a season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to brighten someone's day with 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Wrestling fans, if you're looking for a unique and entertaining way to get your wrestling podcast fix, check out Ring Rust Radio. Ring Rust Radio uses its trademark brand of banter to cover all professional wrestling you love, including WWE, NXT, New Japan, Lucha Underground, ROH, Impact Wrestling, and more. We also hold sit-down interviews with some of the biggest names in the history of the business, such as Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Trish Stratus, AJ Styles, and Roman Reigns. For those of you who want their wrestling with a perfect mix of serious analysis and comic relief, find Ring Rust Radio dropping every Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever you get your podcasts.
So we're here at Marshall's with Liz for some holiday shopping.
She's really nailing it this year, isn't she?
Oh, yep. She got a record player for Amy.
A gorgeous cozy sweater for Jason.
And some hot pink fluffy slippers for her sister.
The perfect gift.
Wait a sec.
She's getting a pair for herself.
Well, with prices this good, it would be rude not to.
You know what? She totally deserves it.
Oh, totally.
Happy holidays, everyone. See you at Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering over 200 engaging programs online. GCU invests in high-demand areas such as nursing, teaching, and the sciences. Students engage with faculty who become partners in your success. GCU's online students received over $100 million in scholarships in 2020. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for.
This is Peacock. I love it! It's streaming your favorite shows, movies, live sports, breaking news, exclusive originals. It's The Office. That's what she said. Chrisley Knows Best.
It's gonna be Todd's Way or the Highway.
And Peacock original shows like Punky Brewster.
Holy macanoli.
So whether you're in the mood for every live WWE pay-per-view or every episode of Law & Order SVU, Peacock's got you covered. Peacock. Watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com.
It's the PW George Livecast and Jim Valley on Saturday Morning Wrestling. Joining us this morning, the gorgeous lady of wrestling, Roxy Astor, the Park Avenue Knockout. And we got somebody on the line who wants to talk to Roxy. Let's go to 814. 814, you're on the Livecast. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Ryan from Marsville, PA.
Ryan, what's going on? What do you got for,
Hi.
What do you got for Roxy?
My question for Roxy was it an issue in Cliff for the girls to flirt with David Glenn to get a better push?
That is what we've heard. You got to understand, we came in seasons 3 and 4, and I met David McLean for the first time at the WOW show at Velasco, I think about 3 weeks ago. I swear, if you read Matilda the Hun's book, you will see everything. You agree, Jim?
Yeah, if you want to know about the casting couch aspects of Glow, Matilda's book pulls no punches at all.
Right.
But did you? It wasn't David, according to Matilda. It was some other people. Did you see that? Did you experience that?
No, we came in, like I said, season 3 and 4, and we kind of heard things. Now, you got to understand, there's no internet back then. It's just us, like in this apartment, kind of hearing stories, but not really knowing the truth. So things came out later on that I'm like, wow, I didn't know that happened with that girl or that girl. We didn't know until later. And a lot of this came out in the Afterglow, the stage show I did. And, it's kind of interesting, some of the things that we all found out.
What else you got,
Ryan? Question for you. Did the girls have to have a day job, too, besides Glow, or did they just do the Glow wrestling?
Oh, you know what, Ryan? They owned us. We were there training every day, which is great because you have to train to be in the ring. And if we wanted to go out at night, a lot of the girls would sneak out. I would talk to Hollywood, and she was the worst. She would sneak out, her and Godiva. And we had to keep the good girls away from the bad girls. But honestly, Ryan, I snuck out with DC and Daisy all the time. No day jobs. If you wanted to do like some TV work, they would have to, okay. It's like a contract, like with the WWE. You have to check with them. So, no. We didn't make a lot of money, which I think maybe a day job might have helped it a little.
I know that was one of Matilda's frustrations, was that she was getting a lot of offers and couldn't follow up on them. Did you, or did any of the other girls that you know have that frustration where people wanted to use you for commercials or appearances, and the office would put a kibosh on that?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like, this is all the things I'm hearing about now, and I hear a lot of interesting things from Hollywood, who was actually there, the only girl from season 1 through 4. I would hear that. She even brought something up about how we got tons of fan mail, and we didn't know it, and then she would go into the office and she found her fan mail. This is all the things we found out 30 years later. So, yeah, I'm sure Matilda's got great stories. Hollywood has great stories.
What else you got, Ryan?
That's all I had. Thanks, Roxy.
Thanks, Ryan, for calling in.
Yep, thank you.
There's Ryan calling in at 515-605-9345, where you can email at pwtorchlivecast@gmail.com, or on Twitter at Jim Valley, or at RoxyAster1. So you said that you wanted to be a bad girl, and instead you get cast as the Park Avenue knockout Roxy Astor. How did that come about?
Oh, that was kind of sad in a way, because I thought for sure. Now, the director, Matt Zimber, I think he was, kind of sitting back with Steve Blanche, the writer, kind of, watching us to see, what way we were kind of leaning or what we were looking at. Now, I mean, the way I dressed and the way I act, I did not see Roxy Astor in me at all, but the other girls would tell me, oh, yeah, that's you. I am like such a tomboy. So, that's why I thought for sure, a bad girl, I would be that. And I remember they were giving us our characters. And Tiffany Mellon, who was my tag team partner, all of a sudden they read, Tracy, you're going to be Roxy Astor, one of the Park Avenue knockouts. I think I cried. I'm like, what? I don't want to do that, but of course you can't do that. You got to take what you can get. But then I thought, hey, wait, I'm replacing Tina Ferrari. And then I was kind of like, well, okay, those are big shoes to fill. How am I going to do this? And I think when the outfit actually came out, and I think I saw like this outfit with maybe 1.5 yards of material, I think I panicked. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So it's like, okay, I could have gone home, but, I just getting this opportunity to play Roxy Astor, Park Avenue Knockout with Tiffany Mellon. and taking Tina and Ashley's place. So, not replacing them, but just being, an extent of them. So I didn't want to be them. I wanted to find my own character. Now, what I've heard from the other girls, too, is that when I wrestled, I kind of brought in like a bad girl type of thing. And I think I did that on purpose so I could just kind of be a good bad girl. And a lot of the fans do know that I wrote this match. It was between Dementia and myself, where I had Big Bad Mama come in and put a voodoo on us. And I changed characters with Dementia. So for once, I got to play a bad girl by getting away with it. So that ended up being my favorite match. But Dementia, she was amazing. I think she played Roxy better than I played Roxy. So you have to see that match if you haven't seen it. It's really good.
Well, we were talking about before you came on the air that it was the 1980s, the height of the Reagan era, and money and greed and all that stuff. Roxy Astor was a baby face.
Yeah, I was. I wasn't happy about it because honestly, they separated the girls even when we traveled and on the bus. But I found myself more drawn to the bad girls. So that's where I kind of learned to be neutral and kind of get along with everybody. But it's funny because you had the bad girls and good girls, and it was like a sorority. You would really have the girls kind of fighting with each other, so that's in wrestling, I guess, but that's women.
Did you get along okay with your tag team partner?
She was great. And she, a lot of people didn't get along with her, but I found her very, very funny. I have kind of like a sarcastic, dry sense of humor. And do you remember Tiffany Millen, how goofy she was and her laugh and her jiggles? Do you remember her?
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. She had a lot of energy. I thought she was a highlight of the show. Absolutely.
Okay, you know what? That was all an act. This girl is nowhere even close to how she portrayed that, which to me, it shows she was a good actress. And for her to play her dumb blonde type of, that was a stretch for her, but I think she pulled that off well. She's she's political, and she did the wife mom bounty hunter. She's just totally opposite of what her character was back then. But it worked for us, I think.
Now she went on to a career in adult films after Glow. Had she had show business experience prior to Glow?
You know what? I know she wanted to be an actress, and how abruptly Glow ended. It's kind of like, if you picture this, the Glow Girls, we are on top. We are on tour. We're the Glow Girls. We were doing TV shows. We're doing, everything was just going so good. And I actually left to go have a baby, and I thought I was coming back to do a film about the Glow Girls, and we were going to have dolls and make money. And then it got pulled away. It was done. We were waiting for that one call that would make us the money that, everybody thought this could really help us all. So, people didn't, the Glow Girls didn't know what to do after that, a lot of them. A lot of the girls went on to Pow Wow, and I know Tiffany wanted to be an actress, and she took it serious. She was the one that didn't go out and party. She would work out in the gym, and she took this very serious. Afterwards, there was just really nothing there. So she chose the adult film industry. I'm sure she got a lot of crap for that after, but you know what? To each his own.
Yeah, whatever you wanna do. It's none of my business. Just
whatever she's not hurting anybody, and people will, they'll ask me, how do you feel about it? She's grown. I'm not paying her bills, so she's still the same person. She's she had a cool show, the wife mom bounty hunter, after that. But people are always going to remember, if you did even one film, they're going to remember always the bad, besides the good. But I have to say one thing. She never regretted doing her adult film. She took that just as a regular job. I don't know how she did it, but that's how she did it. And when she was done and moved on.
I was amazed that she got away with using a name similar to her Glow name, that no one ever sued her, and she got away with that. Because you'd think that the people who, you'd think someone would go, hey, you can't use our name, that looks bad for us.
Well, okay, and the thing is, though, too, I think she did because Glow was gone. You know, there was nothing. Nobody was doing anything with Glow. Now, I think if Glow was still going on and she decided to leave and then pursue that career, I think there would have been backlash or there would have been lawsuits. But it was done, and we were just kind of left, hanging out there and not knowing what we were doing, but she just moved on. So, like I said, I think if it was still going on, there would have been.
And it's interesting, you talk about all of the characters, and you came in the later seasons when they needed to replace people, and that was something that Glow did. I don't know how many times David McLean has put together some sort of women's wrestling company, but he almost invariably has like an Amy the farmer's daughter or somebody the farmer's daughter who's gone through, I don't know how many different generations of the farmer's daughter, but that's what they all did. Yep. It was always, oh yeah, here's Becky the farmer's daughter and Amy the farmer's daughter and so. There was always a farmer's daughter, always.
Well, okay, Jim, are you going to complain that there was these hot girls in little short jeans? No, the fans loved the farmer's daughter, whether it was a cousin, a sister, or whatever. I think that was a staple of Glow, were the farmer's daughters, don't you?
It was a staple. I don't know. Like I said, I was more into it broke kayfabe. I was more into wrestling than I was. You guys, I was a very serious wrestling fan, and God, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it?
I know, and I do hear that, and I didn't quite understand the whole thing because, like I said, a lot of these girls came into Glow not knowing anything about wrestling, and I think it might have, pissed off a lot of fans like you to wrestling.
Yeah, it did.
Am I right?
Yeah, I don't know that I had a long conversation with anyone about it, but I would imagine it did. But I think the vast majority just were probably people who came home after a night of partying, who were drunk or whatever, and were just enjoying some fun, mindless television that kept the party going. I think that's probably more than likely.
Yeah, and the thing is, we were on after WWF. That's what it was called, right, back then?
Yep.
And so you had your WWF, and then you had your Glow. So, maybe we were either, it was just so opposite, and there was no divas really back then like us. So I think it kind of opened the eyes to maybe some WWF fans, You either liked Glow or you didn't like Glow. So we have a lot of hardcore wrestling fans because we go to the CAC and we talk to these guys, and they love us because I think they know us now personally. And we love and we respect the guys over there.
All right, we're talking with Roxy Astor. We're going to take a break, come back, and if you're a big fan, she's got quite the opportunity with you can go cruising with the Women of Glow. We'll talk about that, and also talk about Fabulous Moolah and the wrestling training, and there's still some more ground to cover here this morning on the Saturday Morning Wrestling on the PW Torch Livecast.
Want to know the secret to a great night's sleep? It's Purple. Why? Because only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid. It's the reason why Purple mattresses are soft where you want it, firm where you need it, and instantly respond to movement. The Gel Flex Grid flexes around pressure points to support your whole body, no matter how you sleep. Plus, the Gel Flex Grid is 80% air. It breathes, so you're not too hot or too cold. Learn more about Purple mattresses and the Gel Flex Grid at purple.com. Purple, reinventing sleep.
Cloud is powering tomorrow's transformative missions. Federal agencies are partnering with SAIC to help them meet these critical moments, where bold moves require confident blueprints, where you can accelerate transformation through consistency, where you can innovate forward and never look back. SAIC quickly and securely migrates large-scale workloads to the cloud with the confidence you need to assure your mission. Learn more at SAIC.com/cloud.
Fall is a season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to brighten someone's day with 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
On the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling post shows, we get right into the top story of the show or the top talking point. But if you don't have time to watch Raw, Dynamite, or SmackDown, and you'd like to get a rundown of what happened on the show, I record those every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night for VIP members on the Wade Keller Hotline. The Every Single Day Wade Keller Hotline takes on different formats, but after Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown, as soon as I wrap up hosting the post show and send it off to the producer, I record the Wade Keller Hotline, reviewing Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown start to finish. I'll catch you up on everything that happened. I'll talk about key points in each match, key statements in each promo, and evaluate what I thought worked and didn't work, and add some other observations that don't make it out of the post show, maybe something an announcer said, something somebody in the audience did, or other production notes that jump out to me as I'm watching the show. So go VIP and make following wrestling easier. When you are a VIP member, you can hear the Wade Keller Hotline and listen to it as a primer before listening to our post shows. And of course, as a VIP member, the Wade Keller post shows have the ads and plugs edited out for a streamlined listening experience. Go VIP, pwtorch.com/GoVIP. That's pwtorch.com/GoVIP.
Peacock is streaming your favorite shows, movies, live sports, breaking news, exclusive originals, and every live WWE pay-per-view. It's The Office, Chris Lee Knows Best, and Peacock original shows like Punky Brewster. Peacock, watch for free, upgrade for more. Stream now at peacocktv.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andreas Michaelitis, Chief Psychologist at Noom. This past year has shown us how important our overall health is, and Noom is here to help. Most weight loss plans fall short because they don't provide lasting results. But at Noom, our psychology-driven approach is designed to help you change your relationship with food. Changing the way you eat starts with your mind, and Noom gives you the tools you need to succeed on your terms. Sign up now and lose the weight for good at Noom.com. That's Noom.com.
We're taking it back to the 80s on Saturday morning wrestling here on the PW Torch livecast. It's Jim Valley, and joining us, one of the women from the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, the lovely Roxy Astor. Now, coming up, Roxy, 30 years later, you talked about your fans, and they still love you, and they still want to interact with you. And I've seen you guys at the Cauliflower Alley, and I understand that the rumor is you may be honored this year.
Oh, well, it's not a rumor. We're actually going to be honored. Patricia, you know Sunny, the California girl?
Yeah.
She's actually, she's been working with the CAC for a while, and it's in the newsletter in the CAC, so I think we're going to have, it could be close to maybe 35 girls that will be, or I should say that will invade the CAC. It should be interesting.
And that's one of the cool parts about wasn't the documentary, were you guys at the CAC when you had the reunion? Was that also CAC in the documentary?
No, that was in Orange County. We were close to Mount Fiji's home, like her rest home where she was staying. It was filmed at a DoubleTree Inn, and the guys that did the documentary with Little Egypt got all the girls together so they could film the scene of when she walked, or actually she was wheeled in with her family, and she saw all the Glow Girls, and we were singing. That was a really cool moment, by the way. That was very neat.
Yeah, it's sad, Mountain Fiji, and of course Matilda the Hun's got a great attitude, but it's sad that she's got some health issues and things.
Yeah, it is sad. You know what, Matilda, to me, I was a huge fan of Matilda. From Spaceballs to her Love in an Elevator, Aerosmith, and actually I call her a friend now. I've gotten to know her really well, even though, I didn't wrestle with her. But there's so much to her, and I did not realize it until when I did the Afterglow, I think it was almost 2 years ago, I reached out to her and I go, hey, Matilda, I'm doing this Afterglow. And that was after I did a Kickstarter, successful, and raised $5,000, and and got 11 girls together. She goes, yeah, just call me if you raise the money and you do the show. And I said, okay, well, I did. And we had our first our first show on October 25th. And the girls showed up, and Matilda was there, and the venue was beautiful, and there was food. There was actually somebody said, what they were going to do, and it happened. So, just getting all these girls together and doing that for the first time and meeting, really getting to know her. Her and I, we became friends after this, and she's, she's out now. She's, talking about her book, and she goes to these events now, and she tells me that the Afterglow 2 years ago was kind of like the start of her getting out. So, that makes me happy.
So let's talk about the Afterglow parties and the Afterglow cruise that's coming up.
Well, okay, so the first Afterglow was October 25th, 2000. I think was that 14 or 15? Oh, God, I'm terrible at math. We had a recent cruise going out of Long Beach to Ensenada, and that was just, kind of like a starter cruise, and it was a hit. We did another Afterglow stage show where we had a segment called Truth or Dare, and one of the girls had to bring somebody from the ship on, and I guess they just were celebrating their anniversary, and Matilda gave them, is it a locker or a locker?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about. So that was a fun cruise. So we had 11 Glow Girls on there, and Matilda was able to go on this one. Now the next one, we're going to the Caribbean, February 12th to the 19th, leaving out of New Orleans, and this is kind of not really a tester cruise. The last cruise was successful. I don't know if you know Bill Anderson, he was on it.
Yeah.
Bob Johnson's going on the next cruise, and it was a hit. I didn't know, what was going to happen or if we were going to do it again, but we left the cruise, the last one, crying. People they had so much fun hanging with the Glow Girls, getting to know us, and it's just like, seeing our fans and, having pizza with them at 2 a.m. and karaoke. We got to know these fans. And that's what, there's no other group of girls like this that will open up and really, really hang with the fans, So, we feel blessed that, we know them. So now this second cruise, we have, and I told you, we have Tina Ferrari, who played Ivory, and Ashley, I wanted to bring on a tag team since my ex-tag team partner really wants nothing to do with any type of glow, and I'm not, going to push her for it. We have Hollywood and another, the same girls that went, but unfortunately Matilda won't be able to make this one. And so this one, like I said, is going out of New Orleans. It's an 80s theme prom, and it's an 80s theme cruise. So have you seen, I showed you the flyers. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think if you like the 80s or you're a fan of Glow or grew up then or just enjoy that time, I think it'll be a lot of good campy fun. And, cruises are great. If you've never been on a cruise before, I think this would be a good starter point. And I remember the first time I went on a cruise, I was like, boy, I worked too hard on vacation, because on a cruise, everything you need is just right there. You want to go eat? You go eat. You want to go see a movie? Well, there's probably a movie playing in the theater on board. You just walk down some stairs or take an elevator, and whatever you need is just right there.
Well, I think a lot of people, they kind of think, cruises are for older people. No, it is not like that anymore. We're going on, I don't know what cruise line you went on. Last one was Carnival, great cruise. This one we're going on Norwegian cruise line. And I've been on one before, and Norwegian is amazing, and it's a renovated cruise ship. So I mean that. If you've been, where'd you go? Norwegian or Royal or?
I've taken a number of cruises. I've been on Norwegian. Oh. I've been on. I've taken virtually everything but Carnival. Norwegian is great. It's got a fantastic spa, which I was a big fan of, and also the other nice thing about Norwegian is that it gives you a lot of choices. where if you want to go to the steak restaurant, you can go to the steak restaurant. If you want to go to the Benihana style restaurant, you can go to the Benihana style restaurant. You can kind of tailor your cruise experience for whatever you want. So no, I'm a big fan of the Norwegians. The NCLs are great cruise ships.
Yeah, and did you notice, like, okay, for Carnival, when you partied, you were actually inside a club, and on Norwegian, you party on top of the ship too. Like, you didn't have that, and I like that because when I went on my first cruise, there was like a neon party or something, and on the stage, and I'll have to show this on my timeline again, it said glow. And I thought, okay, that's weird. And now I'm doing a glow cruise or an afterglow cruise on the same ship or like the same cruise line. So, I think that was a sign, don't you think?
It's meant to be. So I tweeted out the website, but what is it for people who want to look into this?
Okay, it's 80s, and that's 80s, afterglow.com. But I also want to say, too, that we have any Expose fans out there. I was a huge Expose fan. We have Joya Bruno, who is right now even traveling with Expose, and she was a lead singer in a lot of the songs. She's going to be doing a few concerts on our Afterglow cruise. And so that, I think one of them's going to be the Valentine's Day dance, and the other one's going to be the prom. We're having a prom. So she's going to be performing at both and hanging with the fans and partying with them. So it's 80safterglow.com, and you can see who's going to be going on the cruise. You're going to see everything that's going on. And we just put out our itinerary of all the fun things we're going to be doing. So, we're 3 months away, and we're doing really good with sales. We're selling out a lot, which to me, being the second cruise is a big thing. You know, it could go either way. So a lot of the people that went to the first cruise, they're excited. 11 months later, they already booked their second cruise. So, I mean, that must say something.
We're now on Patreon. By popular demand, you can now support us directly through Patreon. Go to patreon.com/PWTorchVIP. We have 3 tiers, including an entry-level Tier 1 that takes the ads and plugs away. You can have the VIP versions of the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Podcast, Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Post Shows, and the PW Torch Daily Cast. That's 14 podcasts per week, but with the ads and plugs edited out. Plus, you get the VIP after shows. Don't be left out anymore from those for just $4.99 at patreon.com/PWTorchVIP. We also have a second tier and a third tier where you can upgrade to get other VIP content, including other VIP podcasts and the PW Torch newsletter, the current ones and 20 years ago version. So go check it out, patreon.com/PWTorchVIP.
Sure, and they'll get to interact with you and hang out with you and the other Glow women, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, what do you mean interact? We pull them out of their rooms. You are not going to be in there. We will not pull you out. We go looking for our fans. I don't know what girls do that. So, I mean, we are really, I know if I didn't see a few fans for a while, I was out stalking our fans. We are going to find you. You know, we had a great time with them, and they had a great time with us. And there's nothing like, you know, when you get a bunch of Glow girls and Glow fans together. And the Afterglow fan party, the third one. This will be great because we have a fan hot seat that we let the fans get on that hot seat and ask any of these Glow girls questions. And it gets pretty good.
Yeah, I can imagine if Matilda was there. She doesn't exactly have a filter, so...
That's what I love about Matilda. No filter. Why should she? She's got nothing to lose.
She's hilarious. Hey, with the resurgence of Glow, with the Netflix show that's coming up, do you have any thoughts on what are your thoughts on the scripted show based on Glow that's coming to Netflix?
Well, I am a little confused, and the confusion is, okay, yes, it'll bring new fans to us, but I'm kind of confused, like, how will it bring new fans? Are they just going to watch our videos? Or, I don't know. It's confusing because when they're advertising it, when it first came out, and the funny thing is, when we were going on the last cruise, Matilda called me up. She said, "Did you hear about this Netflix show about Glow?" I'm like, What are you talking about? It was the day before we went on the cruise. And I looked it up, and there it was. And it had our group picture of Glow. And I'm like, well, I've never heard or nobody's come to any of us. And I'm sorry, if you're going to do a Glow anything, I mean, I think you would ask Hollywood or ask Matilda or ask somebody to be a part of it. So a lot of our fans, I think they're going to watch. They might be disappointed. There's a lot of big stars. And a lot of the girls are unhappy, like, hey, you know what? Why not let us do a cameo or do something, you know? But they want nothing to do with the Glow Girls. But yet our picture is out there. Am I happy that it's, it's bringing more light onto future projects, I think, for girls, for the Glow Girls, but how many or what? I mean, obviously, Matilda's not making any money off it, and I know she definitely needs it. So, some of it kind of makes me mad. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I can completely see your point. I think I'm in agreement with you as far as if they're going to use your likeness and some of the work you did, then you should be compensated for it. I think that's the way the world works. Hey, we got another question here for Roxy Astor. Let's go to area code 503. 503, you're on the live cast. Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello?
Scared them away.
They dropped off. I guess they
scared them away.
I guess so. They were in the queue like they wanted to talk, but I guess not, because you got to push the button if you want to ask a question. I got lots of people listening, but everyone's satisfied with the questions. So as far as you're a mom. I know that one of your kids just celebrated a birthday according to Facebook. What do your kids think of this whole Glow phenomenon?
Well, they don't quite get it. I don't think my daughter is the one I wished a happy birthday. She's actually become friends with a lot of the Glow fans from the last cruise. Now, I don't know, my other daughter, Kayla, she's 25. She was Juvie Hall in Restlicious. I don't know, that was Johnny Caparella's thing. Do you remember Restlicious?
Oh, yes.
Okay, she played Juvie Hall when she was 18. And she had an audition with WWE. It was in last May. They liked her. You know how that goes. Still waiting on the call. So she's kind of used to this. Now, Lindsay, on the other hand, she's my youngest, really just wanted to stay away from it until she went on the last cruise. Now she's friends with my friends on Facebook, the Glow fans, and she loves it now. I think finally after, they're embracing that Mom did this really weird thing back, 30 years ago. And people, when they find out, yeah, your mom's Roxy Astor, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can I get an autograph? From their parents. So it's very funny. People still remember us. And back in grade school, a couple of my kids were a hit because their mom was Roxy Astor. So they got kind of teased, but yet they like it now because they see everything going on now.
Did they ever dress up as you for Halloween or an 80s day at school or anything like that?
No, I just remember I had my little green outfit, and Kayla, when she was 2 years old, used that on. And back then in the 80s, the crotches were probably about 24 inches long. So she would walk around in my green outfit, tripping on the crotch.
That's so funny. Well,
I know you got a visual on that, right?
Yeah. So, when was your last match, your last interaction with actual wrestling when you got pregnant? Did you ever try any other wrestling after Glow?
No. And another thing though, too, I want to say is you asked about a second job. I had a rare second job. I did some of the hair for Glow. So I incorporated what I knew from back then. So I went back to hair. No, a lot of the girls went on. I left Glow to have a baby, but like I said, I was going to come back and do the movie. A lot of the girls, they were doing POW and WOW, or I don't know if WOW was back then, was it? Maybe it was just POW. But then there was Sylvester Stallone's mom did some Foxy boxing, and a lot of the girls just kind of picked up where, it was just nobody knew what to do. They were this is what they knew. So I think for a few years they were trying to grab anything that could be remotely like it, and I think that was just kind of crazy. I was kind of glad that when I left like that. I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to go be a mom for a while and see what happens. And that's what's so funny is that 30 years later, I am drawn back into it. But I'm drawn back into it because I think, the documentary and the fans and, and how we've changed lives, which, and we hear that all the time. But I walked away from it, I think, at a good time.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You got to know when to move on. But we're glad that you're back, and I really appreciate your time. So how can people get in touch with Roxy Astor?
Okay, I can still accept friends on Facebook. So you can friend request me. I actually interact with fans. You got questions, I'm there. I answer. And you can also go Roxy Astor 1, and there's also a Glow Wrestling one, which all the girls are connected to also. But a lot of us were on Facebook, so contact us through Facebook. I actually contacted you, didn't I, on Facebook?
Yes, you did, yeah. And I was glad to hear
because I saw that
you.
You did, yeah. So I thought that was kind of neat. And that's it. Twitter, go if you want to book the cruise. That's 80safterglow.com. But if you're my friend, you will see on Facebook everything that's going on with the Afterglow. It all starts on my page,
So there you go. You can find her on Facebook. And also, if you're a wrestling fan, I would encourage everyone, if you get an opportunity, to go to to Cauliflower Alley. It's a lot of fun. It's not a very expensive excursion as far as it's very reasonably priced, and you'll get to interact not only with the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, but there's so many other legends of wrestling. It's a great experience. So I would also encourage people to find out more at Cauliflower Alley and maybe go see the gorgeous ladies of wrestling this year at Cauliflower Alley. Probably going to be a fun year to go.
Great people there. I love the Cauliflower Alley.
Well, look, Roxy, I appreciate your time. It was a lot of fun. And if you need anything from me, let me know. And also, let's see if we can connect and get Tina Moretti on the show. I'd love, she lives up here, I think, doesn't she? Isn't she like
yes,
on
she does. I'm working on that one.
Okay.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, we'd love that.
So we can try to do a follow-up.
Yeah, let's do that, or maybe get a couple of Glow women on. Maybe it'd be fun to have Matilda and somebody on and let her embarrass someone on the air. That would be fun.
That would be great. Because she's good. I would love to be on the air with Matilda, or we can get Sunny, MTV, Hollywood. She's funny. And she was there from seasons 1 through 4.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll do some more Glow. But everyone has really enjoyed it. And you can find her at Roxy Astor 1 on Twitter or 80safterglow.com if you want to look into the cruise. I think that would be a lot of fun. But Roxy Astor, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. And go take care of those people.
Sam. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And go take care of those people who are working next to your building.
I'm going right now.
There we go. All right, Roxy Astor, everybody, and joining us this morning for the very popular Saturday Morning Wrestling.
Apple Podcast compatibility new with PW Torch VIP Podcasts in 2021. If you're an iPhone user and you want a simple way to access our full VIP podcast library as new podcasts come out every day, we have good news. New in 2021, single-click compatibility with Apple Podcasts native app on iPhone, CarPlay, your iMac, or your MacBook Pro laptop. Now, as soon as you sign up and become a VIP member, there's a single-click link in your sign-up email that will launch PW Torch's VIP podcasts in Apple Podcasts. No username, no password to enter. It's as simple as it gets. Go VIP. Find out more information on all the benefits that come with a VIP membership at pwtorch.com/govip. And now we not only accept payments through PayPal, but also a direct credit card or debit card sign up, and also through Patreon.
Straight from recording the Bruce Mitchell Audio Show with fabled co-host and editor-publisher Wade Keller, who previous guest, as many of you know and should be listening to, was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm Bruce Mitchell, senior columnist of Pro Wrestling Torch. This is the Friday live cast for Friday, November the 4th, 2016. Appreciate everybody joining us. And the number to call here, we'll just say it real quick like. The number to call here is 515-605-9345. That's 505-605-9345. I am joined today by my co-host, Travis Bryant, the Texan Travis Bryant. What's going on, Travis?
What's happening, Bruce? Livecast audience, what up?
Good deal. Got a new cruiserweight show from WWE to talk about. Whatever the machinations you want to talk about with Dixie Carter and Bill Corgan and Anthem and Aerolux and all these shows. And James Ellsworth's probably to talk about is on SmackDown. The Miz and Daniel Bryan, with Miz being left off the SmackDown team for Raw versus SmackDown. Of course, Raw versus SmackDown.
Not even considered.
Huh? Not even considered. Yes.
Not even considered.
Yes. And I hate that when I want to, when I try to get that job and I'm not even considered for it. It's like, why wouldn't you consider for it? But I know what it is. You have a personal grudge against me because I called you out that time. And I actually have a reason to be mad at you, even though I'm a bad guy and you're supposed to be the nicest guy in the world. Wait a minute. Okay. And the return of Bill Goldberg and every 20 years or so, Paul Heyman takes a bump, and there was that. Wade Keller and I talked about that an hour, just a few moments ago, and much more with this. So, so that's kind of where things are. But and then we also would throw out Stone Cold Steve Austin on the live cast with Wade Keller, and of course unedited and more farther into it with Wade Keller on the VIP part. Asked Wade, who's the number one babyface on Raw, who's the number one babyface on SmackDown, which led to a very interesting conversation. So so I'll throw this to you, Travis, because I talked with Wade about this. Why is Seth Rollins getting over? What's going on? I mean, Seth Rollins seems to be set up right now until Roman Reigns finally, you fans finally get your head out your butts and start supporting him. So what's wrong with Seth Rollins? I mean, he seems to have all the tools to be a top babyface, and it's just not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the obvious. I mean, it was just beyond clunky, but a clunky, forced, desperate story that had to be told, and that those ingredients don't exactly make for, you don't think a positive outcome would be on the end of that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that,
when it was happening, we said they would have to tell a perfect story at a perfect pacing to undo what they really tightly did with Seth Rollins and his character and where he was with the fans, after his, comeback in May. So they didn't get anywhere near perfect the story or the pacing or anything. So clunky, bad storytelling, and it's kind of an apathy, and the crowd feels it like, oh, we know we're supposed to cheer for you, but wrestling fans are the last ones you want to give a reason to be apathetic or a certain way, because then they'll take it.
Yeah, that's true, and they've done nothing compelling to get them to that part, and unless you're just a guy unless you're an act that the fans just love so much that you can get away with some bad booking, you can get away with some bad crap. I mean, and nobody's like that anymore. I mean, it's really tough to have that. You've got to. It's like you said, you've got to tightly plot it and do it the right way, and they didn't with this at all. And that's probably. We also talked about Bayley in kind of the same situation. That Bayley looked to come out of NXT, and you were on the bandwagon before I was. You jumping on it as Wade gave you credit for, and it took me watching her to go, oh, okay. It's like what I read I didn't like, and then when I watched it, I'm like, I get it, but what's missing now with her?
A belief in her, I think.
Yeah.
Just, I think a belief, someone, an ally, that's, a missing ally, backstage that she doesn't have, maybe.
Yeah.
As far as, like, making her, like, look good. And I don't mean she's not a character that needs to win all her matches, like anything far from it. But there's still a way you treat somebody, and you don't squash them against someone that they've had an extended feud with that's in your library and came out on top at the end of it. It's like I'm not saying she has to go in there and run through or even have this super compelling back and forth match with Nia Jax, but she doesn't have to get squashed in a minute, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, this idea that like an underdog is going to get beaten straight up a lot is. I know they think this is how they got Daniel Bryan over, and that's not how they got Daniel Bryan over. It's how they fought getting Daniel Bryan.
Could that have been like a 6-minute match or something, and play into the fact that her, well, I guess they did. She's got the ribs and everything. I don't know, just something. That was very disappointing. Like, well, okay.
Yes.
Like, is the end of this going to be Bayley holding the title up at WrestleMania in April? Like, is that what this is, like the beginning?
Even if it is, even if it is, it's like why beat her like this? What is this?
Right?
Like,
no. That's my point. Yeah.
You have this fight.
Right.
You have this fighter who can win and show a lot of guts in losing. That doesn't mean she gets beaten all the time and then finally she wins. That's not a formula. And I know they think they did it with Sami Zayn, and they really haven't with that too. And he's lost a lot of ground. And then it's just the focus of the marketing that they haven't made it clear. Here's Bayley's audience. They're jumping on board. You jump on board too. And that's kind of a problem with that too. So it's weird. They
make the argument when people ask again. We talked to Darrell last week about it. Then I think we talked about it again Wednesday with him. It goes to like, I understand, but taking the money and everything out of it, it's like, why would you want to be on the main roster as one of these NXT prospects, somebody that people are paid and pay attention to in NXT and watch NXT for? If you're a Joe or Nakamura or an Aries or any of them, I mean, look at, man, they just don't matter. American Alpha don't matter on SmackDown. Even the Usos don't even matter anymore, really, on SmackDown after doing a really good job of turning and getting some really cool, good characters, nasty heels, and what are they now after 3 weeks of not being featured and attention paid to them for various reasons? And over on Raw, it's the same thing with NXT people. With Sami Zayn, you said, and I guess Enzo and Cass are the only ones, and they're lucky because they just do a sing-song, kind of stupid gimmick thing that gets the crowd to cheer, and that determines, like, who's over, I guess.
Yeah,
I like them, but it's just the cartoon nonsense gets over, but not solid acts that could make you some money, you would think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's that. On the other side of the break, we'll take phone calls. Thanks for listening to the PW Church Livecast.
Hi, this is John Arezzi. Map Memories, My Wildlife in Pro Wrestling, Country Music, and with the Mets is now available everywhere books are sold. Co-written by Greg Oliver, Map Memories is the story of my roller coaster life. Learn the inside stories about my days as the host of the groundbreaking Pro Wrestling Spotlight radio show and as the wrestling convention pioneer and dealmaker. I hold nothing back. Map Memories, available now from ECW Press.
Appreciate you listening to PW Torch Livecast. Now we're going to hear from callers. Let's start with Darrell from Georgia. Darrell, welcome to PW Torch Livecast.
How you doing today, Bruce? How you doing today, Travis?
What's up, man?
Yes. I was listening to y'all discussion with the Seth Rollins thing, why he's not over. I still say, I said it back then, he shouldn't have been, after they misused his baby face when he first came back, they shouldn't have never tried to turn him as a face. They should have doubled down as a heel, maybe have him and Stephanie go heel against Kevin Owens and Triple H, who still haven't showed his face back, and let them be the semi-betweeners, good guys that do bad things at times just to get a point across type of guys, and went with it that way, because him as a face had been already cooled off when they didn't turn him, and they did all of that stuff to make him even more heel when he first came back. And it gets to my whole question I want to ask is, now since they have champions who really don't mean nothing, who feuds don't even seem like it's about them, like Kevin Owens seemed like he's feuding with Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins feuding with the Authority and not even worrying about the champion, kind of, sort of. Should they start getting to the point where, if we're going to make this into a sports-like field, maybe more sit-down interviews like they used to have back in the day with Jim Ross and Stone Cold, or maybe like UFC, where it doesn't matter if you're the heavyweight champion or you're the bantamweight champion or you Conor McGregor or somebody like that. When you're a champion, you take it serious. So whoever championships the hottest may be the one that maybe main events the show, start getting to it like that. And would it be a problem for them, since Vince always think big guys are the main event, even though you have big guys like Braun Strowman who you couldn't main event a show with?
Travis?
Oh, boy. Yeah. That was a lot. Darrell, not really sure. We're pick your most pressing one, and I'll get
most pressing one. Should they change what they feel a main eventer should be? It shouldn't be no longer size and more sports like UFC.
That's none of my first instinct. Really, is none of that's is going to happen, because it would have. We'd see seeds of it, and beyond what happens off the main roster. I mean, seeds of it on the main roster, and it seems like when you think maybe this is it. Nope, we go back to just silly kind of. And with your last thing with the titles, they kind of did that with the women main event and Raw and the pay-per-view. So, and kind of rightfully so, because that's the one title and the one feud that's like serious. Not any, no ha-has or ironic stuff happening.
They kind of halved it too, without the proper build-up that they would have gave if that was Roman in a hot feud. He would have got all the push, all the stuff. It wouldn't have been called a triple threat main event. It would have been this hot feud, Roman Reigns, and they would have been hyping it and not telling you.
I think they still would have had the three cell matches and did the same thing there. No matter how hot the baby. I mean, not maybe not no matter, but even if people were taking Roman Reigns seriously or as a decent enough babyface, you think you. But you said hot, like whatever. I don't know parse words, but yeah. Go ahead, Bruce. You want to jump in here?
Yeah, I think that some of the basics still have to be the basics. It's not a matter of size or whatever or these outlying things. It has to be the guy's a star, the woman's a star, and then they're set up in the right way to take advantage of that. And yes, you can use the sit down interviews. They've been used. I remember seeing Vince McMahon do one with Jimmy Snuka. I mean, like they've been, wrestling. Les Thatcher did that in Southern promotions a ton. I mean, and it can work. It can be. It can help with that, but you still have to have the right. You still have to have the right guy with the right it factor, the right charisma, the right star power, it set up against someone else with the same thing in the right way. And that's not ever going to change. But should they tighten up their structure? Yeah, I think so. I think they should a ton. I really do. And that's that's a big part of this. And it's like they're drifting away and getting worse with it. So I'm not that surprised. Before we go to our next caller, it just hit me though, Travis. We're a week away. We're a week removed from Hell in the Cell. Looking back a week, what was the main event of Hell in the Cell?
Well, I thought it was going to be the title, the Universal Championship.
No, what was it? Looking back at that show, everything, all the factors, everything that happened, all of it. And I'll define main event as the match that the fans were most into, that they wanted to see the most out of all the other matches.
I mean, I don't know if you're getting at something specific, but I'm just going to go with what was the actual main event. It was the women.
So that had enough impact. That had enough impact to be the main event. That was the one. That was the most important match on the show. That was the show. Tell me why.
Well, in hindsight, it was probably the best of the three cell matches. It had the most, to me, had the most heat going in, like the most at stake, even though all three titles were on the line. And you can't take out how that triple threat, good Lord, the
kind of
Owens, Rollins, parentheses, Jericho one, how that was. I mean, that was just nonsense. It just was the best match. It was just good, and again, had the most.
Well, it doesn't have to be the best match, although that does help. I mean, it was which is the one that had the most gravitas, the biggest one, the one that everybody went, the one that after you saw the crowd and the reaction online and everything else, which was the biggest match and which was the main event. And okay, that I would I would see that. So I'm taking it that maybe I wasn't alone in thinking that Chris Jericho just being inside the Hell in the Cell for minutes at a time really was stupid.
No, it was absurd.
Okay, good. I feel better.
Why is he in there? Why is he in there and no one seems
But it's
to
no
care?
DQ.
They had long enough.
But it's no
They had it
DQ,
long
so
enough
anybody
to,
smart would bring in all their friends.
But I'm
and beat
saying
somebody
it.
else.
But I'm just thinking about Monday's promo with Foley, and he's like, how Stephanie was incensed and all that. Like, well, why didn't she send security out to go get Jericho? She has the power.
And why
she was
wasn't
surely
Mick Foley
watching.
incensed?
He wasn't there, and just call Foley and say, hey, get him out of there.
Why wasn't Mick Foley incensed? Isn't Mick Foley like the nicest person on earth now? Isn't he like Santa Claus? 12 months a year. Why wouldn't he be mad? So somebody. I don't
care. Yeah.
I know people have to be sick of me saying this, but it's like I am so sick and tired of the first voice, whether it's JBL or Michael Cole, being it's